Hello to all my wonderful friends. Once again, we have the opportunity to sit together in a cozy and open space on my channel. Today, we're going to embark on a topic that has probably been discussed a lot, but sometimes is misunderstood, or even ignored. That is, why are women called lustful creatures? Sounds sensational, doesn't it? But I want us to look at this issue frankly, scientifically, and with empathy, especially for young people and middle-aged individuals in America. You know, from ancient times until now, society seems to have always assumed that men are the stronger sex, those with higher sexual drives, while women are often associated with gentle, discreet images, rarely revealing their primal desires. But is that really true? Or is it just a stereotype that has been deeply ingrained in our subconscious for centuries? I believe that to truly understand women, we need to break down those invisible barriers and see them with all the complexity and multidimensionality of a human being. And today, in over 30 minutes of our upcoming conversation, I will explore with you the sexual needs and trends of women, from biological, psychological, to social perspectives. I promise that the content will be incredibly authentic, relatable, easy to understand, with interesting statistics, real-life examples from work to family, so you can visualize it more clearly. And most importantly, you will be able to understand yourself or the women around you more deeply. No matter your age, whether you're a young woman exploring yourself, or a mother, a wife with many experiences, I believe you will find something useful and enlightening for yourself. Let's dive deep into every corner of this topic with me. To begin, we need to frankly acknowledge that the label, lustful creatures, for women, whether carrying negative or positive connotations, is in fact a way for society to perceive a very natural part of their instincts. And the first thing we need to do is to break down the misconception that women have lower sexual desires than men. Firstly, in terms of biology and hormones, women also have phases, times when their sexual desire significantly increases. You know, estrogen and testosterone, although often known as male hormones, also exist in women and play an important role in regulating sexual desire. Testosterone levels in women, although much lower than in men, are closely linked to libido, sexual desire. According to a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, women's testosterone levels tend to peak around ovulation during their menstrual cycle. This means that women may feel more intense desire in the middle of their cycle, which they may not have understood or even felt confused about before. This is a natural biological mechanism that increases the chance of conception. For example, a young woman at 25, in her prime reproductive age, can clearly feel this craving in the days leading up to ovulation, something she might not have understood or even felt confused about before. Or a middle-aged woman, even with hormonal changes, her sexual desire can still be maintained or even change its form of expression. An elder once said, "Don't rush to judge the flow without understanding its source." Understanding biology helps us understand instinct. Secondly, psychology and emotions play a key role in women's sexual desire. Unlike men who are often stimulated by visuals or direct factors, women's desire is often more complex, largely related to emotional connection, security, and positive experiences. According to a survey by Indiana University, one of the top factors affecting women's sexual desire is the quality of the relationship and emotional intimacy with their partner. If a woman feels loved, respected, and has deep trust in the relationship, her desire can significantly increase. Conversely, stress, anxiety, work pressure, or family problems can all reduce this desire. For example, a middle-aged woman facing financial burdens or conflicts with her children may feel less interested in intimacy, simply because her mind is preoccupied with other worries. This shows that women's desire is not purely instinctive but a complex interplay between biology and psychology. The mind creates the form. And in matters of love, the mind creates desire. Thirdly, social and cultural factors also contribute significantly to the distorted perception of female sexual desire. In many cultures, especially traditional ones, women expressing sexual desire is often considered improper or indecent. This has created immense pressure, forcing women to suppress and hide their natural emotions and needs. Statistics from a sociological study in the U.S. show that about 70% of women admit to having felt pressured to restrain their desires in relationships, for fear of being judged or misunderstood. This leads to a vicious cycle. Because they are suppressed, their desires are less expressed, and society then reinforces the belief that women have less desire. But the reality is, when living in an open, respectful environment where they are allowed to express themselves naturally, women's desires can burn as brightly as men's. An elder once said, "Don't let the chains of prejudice bind yourself." Now that we understand that women's sexual desire is not low, how does lust manifest in women? It's not just about the desire for physical intercourse, but a broad spectrum of needs and trends. First, the need for emotional connection and non-sexual intimacy. Before talking about physical sex, women often have an intense thirst for closeness, sharing, and understanding from their partner. According to a study on relationship psychology, non-sexual intimacy, including deep conversations, sharing emotions, affectionate gestures like hugging, kissing, holding hands, or simply watching movies or reading together, is a strong foundation for women's sexual desire. If a woman feels lonely or emotionally neglected, no matter how hard her partner tries to physically stimulate her, her desire will hardly ignite. For example, a young woman just entering a relationship may crave romantic dates, all-night conversations, or sweet words of encouragement from her boyfriend. That's how she nurtures emotional connection. And from there, physical desire can blossom. Or a middle-aged woman, after many years of marriage, may no longer crave passionate encounters like in her youth, but deeply cherishes moments when she and her husband watch TV together, garden together, or simply a tight hug after a tiring day. That is also a form of lust, a longing for connection and peace in her soul. Deep love and strong bond are not as good as understanding the heart. Understanding and emotional connection are the golden keys to every relationship. Second, diverse and complex sexual desires. Once a strong emotional foundation is established, women's physical sexual desires are far from monotonous. They are very diverse and complex. They don't just seek physiological release, but also self-discovery, a deep connection with their partner, and new experiences. According to a large survey on sexual life in the U.S., about 65% of women admit that they are interested in exploring new aspects of sexuality, including new positions, sexual games, or the use of adult toys. This shows that women are not passive in intimacy. They also desire to experience and experiment to find what brings them the most pleasure and satisfaction. For example, a young couple can watch romantic movies together or read books about sex to discover new things, helping to spice up their sex life. Or a middle-aged woman, after her children have grown up, may have more time and mental energy to focus on herself and her sex life, rekindling old fires or discovering new ones. Changing the wind in love is not just about changing locations but also about innovating in how one loves. Third, the craving to be understood and respected in sex. This is one of women's deepest needs when it comes to sex. They don't want to be seen as a tool to satisfy their partner's desires, but want to be recognized as individuals with their own emotions and needs, and to be respected in all sexual acts. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, open communication and consent are key factors for women to achieve pleasure and satisfaction in sex. This means that partners need to listen to their desires, respect their boundaries, and ensure that all acts stem from mutual, voluntary consent. For example, a young woman may feel uncomfortable with certain sexual acts, and she needs to be respected when expressing that. Her partner needs to listen and adjust. Or a middle-aged woman may have certain desires or limitations due to health or psychological factors, and understanding from her partner is extremely important. Sex is not possession, but sharing and respect. That is what every healthy relationship needs. We've talked about how women also have strong sexual desires. But why does this craving sometimes fluctuate abnormally, causing confusion for themselves and their partners? There are many factors influencing this, from physiological to psychological and environmental. First is physical health and medical conditions. Any health issue can affect a woman's sexual desire, such as hormonal imbalances, e.g. polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, thyroid disease, chronic illnesses, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or side effects of medications, antidepressants, birth control pills. According to data from the U.S. National Institutes of Health, NIH, about 40% of adult women may experience some form of female sexual dysfunction, FSD, including reduced desire, difficulty achieving orgasm, or pain during intercourse. For example, a young woman on birth control pills might notice a slight decrease in her desire, or a middle-aged woman being treated for diabetes might find it difficult to become aroused. This shows that when desire changes, the first thing to do is to check physical health. An elder once said, "Sickness enters through the mouth, misfortune exits through the mouth," and health affects every aspect of life, including sex life. Second is stress and life pressure. This is one of the biggest enemies of sexual desire in women. When the body and mind are stressed, cortisol levels increase, suppressing sex hormones. Furthermore, when women face work pressure, family burdens, caring for children, elderly parents, or financial problems, they often feel exhausted, anxious, and have no mind for intimacy. According to a survey by the American Psychological Association, stress is the leading cause of decreased sexual desire in women. For example, a young office worker struggling with a tight deadline, or a middle-aged mother trying to balance work and caring for 3 young children. Maintaining sexual desire is a big challenge, and restless mind means everything is restless, and desire is no exception. Third is relationship quality and communication problems. As mentioned above, emotional connection is a key factor for women's desire. If there are conflicts, lack of trust, or poor communication in the relationship, women's sexual desire can be severely affected. Unresolved conflicts, lack of listening, or feelings of abandonment can slowly kill their desire. For example, a young couple who constantly argue, or a middle-aged couple who haven't shared their feelings for a long time, are very likely to have a cold sex life. Silence is golden is not always true, especially in love and marriage. Sometimes, silence is poison. To better understand women's sexual needs, and especially to maintain the flame of love and desire. We need to take specific actions. From enhancing understanding to changing habits and seeking support. First, comprehensive sex and sexuality education. This is essential for both young and middle-aged people. Sex education is not just about biology, but also about emotions, consent, respect, and communication in relationships. Both men and women need to learn how to understand their own bodies and their partner's needs. Discarding false stereotypes. For example, parents in America can proactively talk to their children about sex in an open and scientific way. Instead of avoiding it, or middle-aged couples can read books together. Attend workshops on sexuality to refresh their knowledge and discover exciting things they may have missed. Know yourself. Know your enemy. 100 battles. 100 victories. Understanding sex also helps us have a more fulfilling sex life. Second, focus on holistic health, body, mind, spirit. For sexual desire to be maintained, women need to take care of their health comprehensively, including physical health, healthy eating, regular exercise, adequate sleep, mental health, stress management, mindfulness practice, and emotional health, building positive relationships. A young woman can start by practicing yoga to reduce stress after work, or dedicating time to personal hobbies to relax. A middle-aged woman can seek professional counseling if she has difficulty managing stress or dealing with health issues. Health is gold, and it affects every aspect of life, including sex life. Third, improve communication and intimacy in relationships. This is the golden key to maintaining the flame of love and desire in women. Couples need to learn to communicate openly about their feelings, desires, and what they like or dislike in sex. Make time for each other. Not just for romantic dates but also for deep conversations. Small daily affectionate gestures. For example, a young couple can set up a date night each week. Turning off all phones, dedicating all their time to each other. A middle-aged couple can try small challenges to enhance intimacy, such as learning a new dance together, or simply reading a book together and sharing thoughts. Words don't cost money. Choose words carefully to please others. And in love, sincere words and listening are priceless. Fourth, seek professional support when necessary. Don't hesitate to consult sex therapists, psychologists, or gynecologists if you or your partner are experiencing difficulties in your sex life, especially when reduced desire persists, affecting quality of life and relationships. Professionals can help you identify the cause, provide appropriate treatment therapies or advice. According to the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors and Therapists, AASECT, sex therapy can help about 80% of couples improve their sex lives. For example, a young woman confused about her desire can consult a psychologist for advice. Or a middle-aged woman with physiological problems can see a doctor for medical treatment. Bitter medicine cures the illness. Sometimes we need external help to solve complex problems. I hope that, through over 30 minutes of deep and honest sharing today, you have gained a fresh and more accurate perspective on the topic, why women are called lustful creatures, and their diverse sexual needs and trends. Remember, understanding and respecting women's instincts is key to building healthy, happy, and fulfilling relationships. An elder once said, "Know yourself, know others. 100 battles, 100 victories, and in love too. Understanding is boundless power." If you found this video valuable and meaningful, don't hesitate to hit the like button so I know this content is helpful to you. Please share this video with your family and friends whom you think might also be interested in this topic. so we can break down stereotypes together and build a more open and understanding society about sexuality. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. We'll have many more interesting and practical topics to explore together. I'm always here to accompany you on your journey of self-discovery and enjoying life to the fullest. Thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you in the next video.